The stage lights dimmed, and a quiet buzz filled the studio as anticipation built for the next blind audition. Toni Lorene walked onto the stage with a sense of determination in her step, her presence commanding attention even before she sang a single note. Dressed in a sleek, black outfit that shimmered under the spotlight, she carried herself with both confidence and vulnerability, two qualities essential to embodying Lizzo's raw and emotional ballad. The audience, seated in hushed silence, could feel the electricity in the air. There was an unspoken understanding that something extraordinary was about to unfold. As she took her position at center stage, she grasped the microphone firmly, drawing in a deep breath that steadied her nerves. The cameras captured close-ups of her face, revealing not only the determination in her eyes but also the flicker of vulnerability that often precedes greatness. In this quiet moment, before the first note was sung, Toni Lorene had already begun to tell her story. The coaches leaned forward in their iconic red chairs, not yet knowing the voice they were about to hear, but instinctively sensing the emotional storm that was about to break. When Toni opened her mouth, the first notes spilled out with an emotional intensity that immediately cut through the silence. Lizzo's "'Cause I Love You" is no easy feat. It begins with a bold, almost theatrical declaration, demanding not only vocal power but also an ability to capture its soulful vulnerability. Toni delivered this opening with such conviction that the audience gasped in unison, recognizing the bravery required to take on such a powerhouse anthem. Her voice carried a rich, resonant tone, blending a bluesy grit with a crystal-clear belt that soared across the room. Instantly, heads turned among the audience, and murmurs of astonishment rippled through the crowd. The camera panned to the coaches, their expressions shifting from curiosity to shock as they registered the raw emotion dripping from every syllable. This was no karaoke cover. Toni Lorene was reinterpreting the song with her own artistic stamp. Every line she sang was drenched in feeling, as though she had lived every word of Lizzo's heartbreak and yearning. Her control was impeccable, dynamic swells of sound punctuated by softer, aching moments of fragility. It was a masterclass in vocal storytelling, the kind of opening that forces the audience to stop breathing for a moment, afraid to break the spell she was casting. As Toni's performance intensified, her delivery grew bolder, hitting crescendos that rattled the rafters of the studio. The song's emotional peaks demanded nothing less than total surrender, and Toni gave it all, pouring her soul into each phrase. It was during one particularly soaring high note, an impassioned wail that seemed to transcend the boundaries of the stage, that the magic happened. One of the coaches, visibly stunned, slammed their button, sending their chair spinning around to face her. The audience erupted in cheers, and the atmosphere instantly transformed into a celebration of her talent. Another coach followed, equally captivated by her ability to balance technical precision with emotional vulnerability. The tension built as more coaches hovered over their buttons, debating whether to claim her for their team, but Toni kept her focus locked into the performance, never allowing distraction to derail her moment. Her ability to remain present, to embody both the strength and fragility of Lizzo's anthem, showed not only her vocal chops but also her professionalism as a performer. The camera cut between the coaches' wide-eyed amazement and the audience's growing excitement, capturing a sense of history in the making. By this point, Toni Lorene had transformed from an unknown contestant into a potential frontrunner, her destiny shifting with every electrifying note. The performance reached its emotional peak in the bridge of the song, where Lizzo's lyrics demand an almost primal outpouring of passion. Toni did not hold back. She leaned into the rawness, her voice cracking in places not from weakness but from sheer emotional authenticity. This was the kind of imperfection that makes a performance unforgettable, the type of vulnerability that pierces through polished surfaces and touches the human soul. Her body moved with the music, her hand clutching the microphone stand as though it were the only thing tethering her to the stage. The spotlight intensified, casting a glow that made her appear larger than life, as though she were not merely singing to the coaches and audience but to the world beyond. The crowd, now fully on its feet, clapped and cheered in rhythm, urging her to dig even deeper. When she hit the climactic high note, holding it with both power and control, the studio exploded in applause. Even the coaches who had not yet turned were visibly awestruck, some nodding their heads, others covering their mouths in disbelief at the raw talent unfolding before them. In this moment, Toni wasn't just singing, she was confessing, testifying, and declaring her artistry to everyone watching. As the final note rang out and Toni lowered the microphone, the studio fell into a brief, reverent silence before erupting into thunderous applause. The coaches rose to their feet, giving her a standing ovation that signaled not just respect, but genuine admiration for her artistry. With the spotlight now softer, Toni's expression shifted from fierce determination to visible relief, a tear glistening in her eye as the weight of the moment settled in. The coaches began to plead their cases, each one highlighting the bravery and brilliance she had displayed by tackling such a demanding Lizzo ballad. They praised her emotional depth, her technical range, and her ability to completely own the stage. Toni listened humbly, her smile radiant, yet her composure steady, a reflection of the poise that had defined her entire audition. For the audience at home, this was more than just a performance, it was a reminder of why The Voice exists, to uncover voices capable of moving hearts and shaping the future of music. Whether she won the competition or not, Toni Lorene had already secured a place in its history with a performance that would be replayed, discussed, and celebrated long after the episode aired. Her blind audition of "'Cause I Love You" became a symbol of what happens when courage meets artistry, a young singer stepping into the light and seizing her moment with every ounce of power and vulnerability she possessed.